MS Australia.
Thank you very much. I might say I really want to congratulate you for having a focus on neurological conditions. I chair the Neurological Alliance Australia, and in this country, neurological conditions are undercounted, they're under-recognised, they're underfunded, and in the case of the NDIS, they are far too often misunderstood. From MS Australia's perspective, our role is to fund research, undertake education awareness and advocacy on behalf of the 37,700 Australians who live with MS, 1/3 of whom are on the NDIS. I'm really pleased that I'm joined today not only by our National Policy Manager but also Rachel Kerr, who lives with MS. She's an NDIS participant and a member of our famed lived experience expert panel known as the LEAP, and she's travelled from Rockhampton to be with us today, and also her husband and carers here too in the audience, Shannon, so I'm really grateful that they've made the journey to provide evidence here. The evidence that we do give draws strongly on the experiences of our state and member organisations who are registered NDIS providers and deliver a range of supports and services to people living with MS and increasingly other neurological conditions, but also from our LEAP. And we have 50 people who live with MS or are carers who provide expert advice to inform our advocacy and policy work. We support reforms to improve NDIS integrity, address fraud and strengthen the scheme, but as many as I suspect virtually everyone you've heard from says, the scheme's sustainability must not come at the expense of people with disability. We are deeply concerned that many measures in the bill could reduce access to necessary supports, increase pressure on families and carers, and undermine the rights, independence and wellbeing of people with disability, including people living with MS. The NDIS has been life-changing for many people with MS. However, in the survey work that we've done recently and ongoing engagement with people with MS, they tell us that it is increasingly difficult to navigate, especially since MS isn't always well understood by the NDIS. People are being repeatedly asked to prove, for example, that their chronic, progressive, incurable disease still exists. We are especially concerned that the reforms outlined in this bill put the emphasis on participants losing supports rather than improving how the NDI operates the scheme, which we see as the major barrier to an improved and fiscally viable scheme. We also believe that any reforms to the NDIS should be driven by the lived experience of people with disability. Changes to planning, assessment, supports and decision-making should be done through co-design, trust and partnership with people with disability. Thank you for having us here today.